Two routers are fighting each other on LAN. My apartment is quite large and most rooms have several walls, meaning Wi-Fi signals drop easily. To combat this, I found a spare DSL router I had previously and placed it in the kitchen and connected it with an Ethernet cable to my adsl router, which is the gateway in my LAN. See diagram. The internet has been great and Wi-Fi coverage has improved now with the two Wi-Fi hotspots. The only problem is now my PC, which connects to the main router, is getting an unreliable Ethernet connection. To even confuse matters more, if I try and connect to the router using the default IP of 192.168.0.1. One moment I will get the adsl router, then if I refresh I will get the old DSL router. It is like they are fighting for the specific IP address and cannot allocate it. I am guessing I need to have some sort of slave, master, if I can use that term, to enforce authority on the network. Any ideas what's happening? How I can go about fixing this?
No. You need to configure so the routers have different IPs. Preferable, you assign 192.168.0.1 to the virgin router, and 192.168.0.2 to the Sky router. This you do with the Sky router disconnected from the virgin router, via a wireless client. Also, you need to turn off the DHCP server on the Sky router. Then connect the Sky router from LAN port to LAN port on the virgin router. Then the Sky router will act like a simple Wi-Fi app that just bridges the Wi-Fi signal to a cable. What's happening is that both routers have the same IP, which means that when you type 192.168.0.1 in your address bar, it will only be a question which router that gets to answer your query fastest that will win, thus you will randomly get the Sky page or the virgin page. The unreliable internet connection comes from that both routers have 192.168.0.1, and both is your gateway, so half of your packets will be lost out of a DSL interface without internet connection. The unreliable internet connection can also come from that both routers are DHCP servers, and here is the same. The DHCP that replies fastest on the initial query will get to serve your computer. After you done this, you will use 192.168.0.1 to administrate the virgin router, and 192.168.0.2 to administrate the Sky router.
You should configure your router's DHCP private network address assignment. You should configure Virgin Router to assign addresses to DHCP clients on private network 192.168.1.x, and Sky Router to assign addresses on private network 192.168.2.x. Let's investigate your current situation. Let's say that Virgin assigns your modem IP address 72.22.22.22. Let's presume the modem and its wireless router are not integrated. The private address of Virgin adsl modem is by default 192.168.0.x. Since the private network address of Virgin Router is non-configured, Virgin Router would also use the default private network address of 192.168.0.x. Since the private network address of Sky Router is also non-configured, Sky Router 2 would use the default private network address of 192.168.0.x. You have three network segments: Virgin Modem segment, Virgin Router segment and Sky Router segment. Sky Router segment is a client of Virgin Router segment. Virgin Router segment is a client of Virgin Modem segment. Obviously, there is no interference between Virgin Router segment and Virgin Modem segment, because there is no way for any other client to access the Virgin Modem segment. There is interference between Sky Router segment and Virgin Router segment, because they are on common air, because both segments are presenting themselves to their common clients using the same gateway address. Your current situation would result in the following interference of two network segments. Virgin Modem assigns its Wi-Fi router, namely Virgin Router, the address 192.168.0.2 as the first/only client of its private network, identifying itself as 192.168.0.1. Virgin Router will record 192.168.0.1 as the gateway address to Virgin Modem segment. Virgin Router assigns Sky Router the address 192.168.0.2 as the first client of its private network, identifying itself as 192.168.0.1. Sky Router will record 192.168.0.1 as the gateway address to Virgin Modem segment. That is still not a problem, because Sky Router's only path to Virgin Router is through a non-shared Ethernet segment. Virgin Router assigns your laptop the address 192.168.0.3 as the second client of its private network, identifying itself as 192.168.0.1. Your laptop will record 192.168.0.1 as the gateway address to Virgin Modem segment. Sky Router assigns your laptop the address 192.168.0.3 as the second client of its private network, identifying itself as 192.168.0.1. Now there is a problem because the laptop is confused about the gateway address 192.168.0.1. Further, due to inherent random situation, what if Virgin Router assigns your iPad 192.168.0.7? But Sky Router assigns it 192.168.0.9, both through the same gateway address of 192.168.0.1. What is its IP address? The solution is to decouple the network addresses of the two network segments sharing the same media, i.e., the same air and space and whatever dust and airborne bacteria in between them, so that their clients could differentiate them. You should configure Virgin Router to assign addresses to DHCP clients on private network 192.168.1.x, and Sky Router to assign addresses on private network 192.168.2.x. Then Virgin Router DHCP would assign Sky Router the address 192.168.1.2. Your laptop would be assigned by Virgin Router DHCP the address, say, 192.168.1.5. Your laptop would identify its network gateway to Virgin Router segment as 192.168.1.1. Your laptop would be assigned by Sky Router DHCP the address, say, 192.168.2.7. Your laptop would identify its network gateway to as 192.168.2.1. Now your iPad, your wireless speaker, your Wi-Fi VoIP phone receiver, your Wi-Fi'd HP printer, your Wi-Fi'd coffee mug or your Wi-Fi'd robotic dog would all each be auto-assigned to non-interfering IP addresses through non-interfering gateways to the two segments. You should not configure any addresses on your PC/laptop or the client end. Otherwise, you would have to repeat such configuration for every PC/laptop that comes into your house, and you'd also have to remember all the addresses you had previously assigned. Example of configuring the DHCP start address on a Linksys router. This URL.
I am guessing I need to have some sort of slave master, if I can use that term, to enforce authority on the network. That is correct. Sebastian mentioned how to do this step by step, and why. But often there's an easier way to configure a device as slave. There should be a setting in the configuration of your old router where you can choose a mode like access point, bridge, repeater, I can't be more exact because I don't know your router model. The description in the router interface should make it clear which one to choose.
This is what worked for me in a similar situation. I have two routers, also. The first router is Huawei and is connected to my ISP. For some unclear reason, the Wi-Fi part of this router is jammed by the second router, TrendNet, so I deactivated Wi-Fi on the Huawei router. The second router is connected by cable to the first router and provides internet access both on cable and Wi-Fi. Both routers have DHCP enabled. The first router's IP address is 192.168.1.1 and I manually set the second router's IP address to 192.168.2.1 to avoid any conflicts. I can access both routers' management web interfaces only when I am connected by cable or Wi-Fi to the second router, TrendNet. If I am connected to the first router, I can't access the second router's management web interface. That may require some advanced settings in one or both routers that I am not familiar with. The second, TrendNet, router's WAN port is connected to one of first, Huawei, router's LAN ports. This way the DHCP servers will be completely separated. No matter what router I chose to connect to, Wi-Fi or LAN, only one DHCP server will respond and assign an IP address to the PC/laptop or tablet/smartphone.